Hello, welcome to Spotlight. As bright as this spring weather, but even more imaginative.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening, we catch up with performance poet, musician and all-round artistic polymath Jacqui Morrey-Grace, back with a bang after a slightly fallow period. Well, fallow for her, anyway. We talk poetry with now former chair of the Isle of Man Poetry Society Bethany, deLegh Runciman. And it's adult panto time. Oh no, it's not. Oh yes, it is. Remember, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you might be involved in, planning, hoping to create, or would really like to put in the spotlight this programme. Poetry, well, that's on this evening. Theatre, that is to a degree. Music, literature, ceramics, sculpture, drag. What more drag? Hopefully we'll get it. Film, mime, social media, digital. Any digital artists out there? Calligraphers. Only had one calligraphy item, I think. Get in contact. Howard Kane, with an E, at manxradio.com. Spotlight at manxradio.com. They both come to me. I read them all, and I will get back. Slowly sometimes, but I will get back. Love to hear from you. Well, the artistic talent sprouting faster than the wild garlic at the moment, and they don't get more creative on the Isle of Man than Jacqui Morrey-Grace, widely known as performance poet around the island, multiple poetry slam winner, a filmmaker, storyteller, trombonist, jazzer, and now playwright. We haven't heard from her for a while. She has been having some health problems, sadly. It takes a lot to keep this creative whirlwind down. She's back now with a new exciting project which has just been previewed at the Erin Arts Centre, and she dropped by to tell me more.
Yeah, I think I have been very ill for a long time, and I am gradually starting to pick myself up again. Not sure when I get back on stage. I'm not quite sure about how that's going to function at the moment, but I have started writing again, which is really exciting, and I've started kind of connecting with other people again in the creative world, which I think is where I get a lot of my inspiration as well, and a lot of my kind of, not so much inspiration, but it's where I get excited.
Yeah. And what was it that suddenly got you fired up again? Was it, did you read something, see something, go to a show or whatever?
Well, about a year ago, I started writing a play, and it kind of came really quickly in the beginning, the first half, and I looked back at it and I was like, whoa, I mean, it's quite heavy. You know, it's not, I don't tend to write light things, but I was quite pleased with the outcome of it, and I approached two people who I wanted to be involved in it, and they seemed keen, although they are very well established musicians in Ireland, but they seemed keen. So I was writing it really as to get me going again with writing, but then I got stuck. I got to the end of part one and I got stuck, and I just had to shelve it because I couldn't get my brain into gear for doing anything else. I wasn't doing any writing, and then I kind of dug it out again. Well, really, because Matthew Warren turned around and said to me, would you do this Works in Progress evening on Saturday? And I thought, yes, I will, because we were going to work on a project, and I'd started working on that, which was actually going okay, to be honest, but we're both quite busy. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, no, do you know what? If I'm going to do a Work in Progress, I'm going to dig that play out again, and I'm going to get working on it again. And so I have. And I'm starting to get really excited. And the Work in Progress evening on Saturday was brilliant.
So this was a chance to actually perform. And again, you put a little bit of it onto social media, and I saw a bit on Facebook. Tartarus, so this is the name of the work, as I understand it? Or
yeah.
Is it the working title or the definite title?
No, it's a definite title.
Describe it, because it seems to be going right back to the sort of Greek myths and sort of early times there as an inspiration.
Yeah, so Tartarus is basically described in Greek mythology as being as far beneath Hades as heaven is above earth. So it's an ancient Greek concept. In fact, it's kind of part deity like Chaos and Gaia, but also it's an inescapable, impenetrable prison that's so punitive it can even imprison deities, basically. So it's like this hellish, it's probably more akin to the Christian version of hell.
Yes, I've read it somewhere as a deep abyss. That's sort of the deepest part of it.
A deep, dark, dank abyss where everything changes, and people. It's where the Titans are, or Sisyphus, where he eternally pushes his rock up the hill, which is a line I've got in the poem, in the play. Sorry. So basically, characters who are imprisoned there, they're stuck. I've interpreted it as being like a repetitive insanity, like a madness that's inescapable. So that's how I've interpreted it. So the play does not open with Tartarus' state. Instead, it begins with a really dangerous curse. And it's a story of the curse and how the curse moves throughout the play and what happens to the curse. Because a curse in reverse can create far worse. So the person being cursed knows how to curse reverse, is like a line we've got in it. And it's basically the idea of if you lie and deceive or collude in lies and deceptions to harm another person, who thereafter, by the laws of morality, owns the story.
Wow. Okay. And so what drove this in the first place? Is it something have you studied or read much about Greek myth and such like?
Well, I did actually do it as a subsid at university. So I did theology and religious studies at university I then went on to do music, but I did that as a first degree at Leeds, and then we were allowed to choose a subsid, and I did Greek. I can't remember what I did. I think I did
mythology
Greek.
Or
must have been. I mean, it was a very long time ago, and so I've always had an interest in it. I really, really enjoyed those subsids, and so I've always liked that kind of thing. And I suppose really it's a true story. It's a true story of like modern life. There is so much depravity in the world, and it's a question of can virtue excel or can morality excel in the face of depravity?
Brilliant.
And how?
And if you want to see it, like I said, you can go to Jacqui's Facebook page. You can see a little clip from the new works there of you performing the opening of the play, I think, isn't it?
Do you want to hear a bit?
Yeah, and you brought actually one of the props as well, which is, I love it. It's a classic 1930s, 40s, 50s,
No, it's
I don't
1961.
60s, okay, 60s. Jack in the Box. You don't see Jack in the Boxes anymore.
No.
And it's a music box and Jack in the Box.
It's right. I'm going to have to see it. So this is right. Basically, the concept is there's mainly two characters. There's four characters. There is Dionysus, the theatre god, who is actually God but played by me and is female because you mess around with reality and everything in a play. And then there's also Joseph Grimaldi, who the clown, who is also a theatre ghost, and the robed artisan, who is an offstage. At the moment, I've not finished the play, by the way. It's a work in progress.
Work in progress.
Is an offstage theatre ghost who is a puppeteer of Grimaldi the clown. And basically, they're contriving to bring Dionysus down. Now, Dionysus is like an intoxicating god, or deity rather, and is so intoxicating that has all consumed the actor. The actor is Enid, but has all consumed this actor. So Enid inhabits that character, and they are trying to destroy her character and character in essence as well at the same time. So this is just the end bit of the curse, and we'll see if I remember it.
Go for it.
Okay. Grimaldi and the artisan. Invisible for far too long, but invisible no more. Actors will build shrines to us, forget ghost lights that shine for us, perfect project their lines for us, or else ignite our vex to fetch the hex of Oubliette. What else did you expect? Impenetrable, inescapable, endless halls and doorless walls. Let us curse our character to prove that theatre ghosts once more can haunt.
Yay! Oh, very good. My chair goes, the Jack in the Box comes out, we both fall over.
It scared Howard so much he nearly fell off his chair.
I nearly fell off my head again. It is quite scary when the Jack in the Box comes out. Terrific stuff. That's the opening piece. Work in progress. So, how long are you intending to try and finish it this year, or longer plan, or how's it working?
So, I reckon I could finish a script quite quickly because I'm near the end. Although I did spend a few hours yesterday getting quite frustrated with it, but then I got home because I often work in my car. I got home and I was like suddenly like, I think it's the penultimate poem. It came, so that's now in the bag, which I'm dead excited about because I like to finish on an epilogue, which I haven't done, but I know what the epilogue's going to be. That should come quite easy. So I'm hoping to finish a general script. So what I had to do, I've had to find a cast. So I've been working because I often create around people. So if I'm creating a concept, I like to know who's going to be involved in it from the beginning because then I can write around them.
I don't know how Jacqui's creative brain works. I just wish I had one which went at the same speed. We'll hear more from Jacqui next week and also talk about another strand of her multifarious life, the autoimmune charity Without Wings. Stay tuned.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
Staying with a poetic theme, Another poet, no stranger to spotlight over the years, is Bethany deLegh Runciman. She's now stood down as long-time chair of the IOM Poetry Society, and I thought it'd be a nice idea to have a chat with her about her time as chair and also the development of the society over the years. And as I heard, she remains highly active still within the society.
Oh yes, very much so. I mean, I stood down from chair and Roger Bloor has taken it up, but I've got an awful lot of knowledge which I'm sort of drip feeding to him so that he understands how the society works. I'm actually the treasurer because Hazel, who was treasurer, she's stepped down, still on the committee. So it's Roger and I at the helm really. And I mean, Roger's a great asset to the IOM Poetry Society. Wonderful poet, and very, very keen to keep things running. So I was elected chair in 2015. I remember it was very soon afterwards most of the committee stepped down, so leaving three of us, Jeff Garland, Paul Jemston and myself, and it was the three of us for a number of years. It's not easy to work with such a small committee.
No, indeed.
Jeff was fantastic. I used to call Jeff my wise owl. He was wonderful. He had his knowledge on poetry and the society. I mean, he was, I think, almost one of the founder members. Sadly, Jeff died in 2020 after a short illness. So my idea when I came to the Poetry Society as chair was to try and sort of expand what we were doing, to make it a bit more inclusive, so we weren't just sat around a table reading poems. The poetry pop-ins, I was trying to get some guest speakers in. Every time there was a new Manx bard, I invited them to come and read some poems for us. But not everybody liked that new remit, I have to say, but most people did, and they've carried on the poetry pop-ins right through COVID. I remember COVID, in 2020, we were having Zoom sessions, which was interesting because it actually brought on some poets from across who wouldn't normally be able to get to a poetry pop-in. We had them on the Zoom, but then the problem was some of our members just couldn't get onto Zoom. So, and then I remember towards the end of COVID, I think about 8 of us went to the Nobles Park bandstand with permission, and we spent an evening outside, so we didn't have to wear masks, and we had a wonderful evening just reading poetry to ourselves, really, because there wasn't really anybody passing by, but if anybody did pass by, they got some poetry.
That's it. Free poetry for the passers-by. A lovely idea. You should bring that back, actually. I think that would work in non-COVID times as something a bit different. And again, it's been, as you say, during your tenure, I think it has been bringing more people in. It seems to me that poetry's never been more popular on the IOM, and all sorts of people, even if they're not regular poets, are sort of committing, doing a little bit of poetry or coming along. That
was a huge change. When I started in 2015, I remember for a few years being a bit embarrassed to say to people, I'm chair of the IOM Poetry Society, because it just wasn't cool, and we were struggling. But during that's my 11 years, it's flipped almost, and poetry is really cool, and I was always very proud to say I'm chair of the IOM Poetry Society, and a lot more people are interested. It came through the rappers on the music, and young people getting involved in rap music, which is basically spoken poetry, and that has fed through even to older people, and now our open mic sessions get very busy, and we see new faces coming through. Bridge Carter with the Manx Bard has done a lot of really good work as well in that side, and we've often been able to include the Manx Bards in things that we're doing. We're lucky to have Jordan, the previous Manx Bard, on the committee, so it's lovely to have a young person who knows about the internet, and she's going to do a lot of public relations work. And Bradley, the current Manx Bard, he's involved in the Poetry Society as well, so that's really really good.
That's excellent. And you think, you're just mentioning that, I hadn't really thought of it myself, but you think it's sort of rap and the sort of the popularity of rap over the years, and certainly in the last 20, 30 years, that's what's driven the sort of younger people coming in to start writing poetry.
Oh, definitely, because older people, we have, me included, at school, for GCSE English, we were the first year to do GCSEs. We had war poetry for 2 years, which, I'm not knocking the war poets, were good, but when you're 15, 16 years old, it's not the poetry you really want. It doesn't inspire you, really. I hardly wrote a poem until my 20s. But nowadays, I think with the schools are trying to, well, this is where the Poetry Society wants to work with the schools. I've done some workshops in schools, years 5 and 6, to try and even if they're not that capable of writing a poem, just to get the enthusiasm about, I can try to write a poem. I know that it can rhyme. It doesn't have to rhyme. And it's about thoughts and feelings. How do I feel about this subject? Or I like football. Can I describe all the actions in the football? It's getting sparks into young children to write poetry, and hopefully that will then feed through.
And what sort of reaction do you get when you work with these children in the workshops? Are they sort of surprised, or are they? How do they sort of react to it?
When I go into a school, the teachers are always so glad to see me, because they don't know much about poetry. So when I go into the class, it is difficult, because you have some children who are naturally very gifted at English and writing, they obviously they can write reams and reams. It's the children. I find some children in the class find it very difficult to choose a theme. So it's a good idea to give them one theme, but it's some children do find it's hard, but it's just trying to get them just to put some words on the page and to link those words up. Now, I've always been on my own doing workshops. Sometimes a teacher or teaching assistant can help. Certainly with the bigger classes, it's difficult to try and get around every child to make sure they've got something down. But I know Peel Clothworkers School, they had a teacher there, a gentleman who was really into poetry, and I walked into their classroom and they had poems surrounding on all the walls, and they were so in tune with how a poem, the structure, things like that. And I must admit, there were some wonderful poems written, in fact, this in 2 weeks' time, I think it's next week, I've been asked by Manx BirdLife, so Anna Graham from Manx BirdLife, and probably a few others, are going into Victoria Road School in Castletown again. So they did this last year, and it's all about swifts. So the little bird, the swift, is in decline in population, I think not just on the Isle of Man, but worldwide. But they're gorgeous little birds. They spend most of the time in the air. They hardly ever sit down. They only really when they have a nest. So the children learn about swifts. They play a game, and this year I've actually been asked to go and run a poetry workshop about swifts. I've got the English teacher and Anna Graham. Anna's a very good poet. Going to be with me on the Wednesday, and on the Thursday, Sarah Lockyer from Poetry Society, who was an English teacher. She's going to come and help me as well. And the poems that that are written will be taken to Castletown Town Hall on Sunday, June the 28th, which is where there's going to be Manx BirdLife in Castletown Square, plus a few other wildlife organisations. And so the poems will be on display. Now, I've learnt with poems that are written in the classroom, most of the children don't finish them. And if I just walk away and have no more input, those poems never see light of day. So I'm going to get photocopies of every poem. The teacher will keep them, and what I will do actually is go back into the classroom and we'll finish them off together, and then I can take the poems with me. The Poetry Society have been asked to have a table in the square there as well. So fingers crossed for the weather.
More from Bethany next week. Suffice to say, poetry very much alive and well on the Isle of Man, and I think a lot of it to do with Bethany and her colleagues. You might think panto season is behind you. See what I did there? But think again. Whilst we're quite away from Christmas now, a panto aimed at adults rather than children will shortly hit the stage in Peel. Right, drop down into the green room at the Peel Centenary Centre for the rehearsals of the, what I think, is it called the adult panto normally? The adult panto?
The adult panto.
Right, let's see who we've got here then. So we'll just go around and see who we've got. I've managed to snaffle a few of the cast. Super big cast and they're really busy, so I'm just fortunate to get a few minutes. So I'll go around the room clockwise, and you are?
Michelle Kane, the director.
Jem Dugdale, and I play Robin.
Jules Morrison, and I played Marion.
Andy Whitmore, and I'm Little John.
There we go. So tell us then, Mish, what is it?
Well, it is the filthy version of Robin Hood, shafted in Sherwood, and it was penned by Andy, who is being very, very humble in the corner there. Yes, penned by himself, and it's very much the oohs and oh no's that you want to see in a family panto brought to life.
And going out, I suppose people think of pantos around Christmas, but this is going out a bit later in the year.
Yeah, so we tend to do the adult ones a bit earlier sort of after the family, before Christmas, so that there is that good separation, so that we know that, yeah, do not bring your children to this because they will get a heck of a shock.
So they always say this is something, it is good fun, but it is for the, what would we say, broad-minded.
Oh, certainly broad-minded. Please do not arrive if you are a little bit offended, because, well, you'd certainly leave with a few grey hairs anyway.
But it's been going a few years, the adult panto now, so it does have a following.
Yeah, so since 2021 was when we did the first one. I directed that one, actually. And, yeah, we've had a solid following since then. Everybody, as soon as we announce that, we'll be announcing the adult panto itself. We always get a good lot of people getting in touch saying, when are the tickets going on sale? What are you doing? When's the next one going to be? Oh my gosh, is it going to be as rude as the last one? So yeah, I think we've set a bar now, and yeah, so it's trying to maintain that without going too far. Can you go too far?
I don't know. You said, Andy, so you're responsible then, yeah? So can you go too far?
You can. Well, so we try to pull it back a bit, and it's a difficult, balance, isn't it? Between sort of very suggestive and downright dirty. So we try to walk that line.
Yeah. And the writing, is this something you have you done a few of them? This is your first, or?
No, I did last year's. I did the what did we do last year?
Phallus in Wonderland.
That's right, Phallus in Wonderland. Yeah, no, I did that. Yeah, and so this is the second one.
So do you have to think do you have to get the punny title first before you get going, or do you start writing and then think about the title?
I think it helps. It does help, yeah. And there's obviously there was a few thrown around. Throbbing Hood being the
Throbbing Hood, of course.
But so many people have done that, so we went with Shafted in Sherwood. Yes, seemed appropriate.
And do you sort of get a classic panto script and then start muddying it?
No, I mean I've been doing panto for about 30 years now, so we kind of know all the stories and all the gags, and then just what makes me laugh. What I find funny is what goes in.
Yeah. And it's not meant to be, like I said, some people say, it could be offensive. It's not intended to offend, isn't it? It's just for people who like something perhaps a bit, it's a bit broader minded than your standard fare.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's a good laugh. You come and you will have a good laugh. You'll have a giggle. Guaranteed.
And what about the writing then? I mean, does it take you, once you get stuck into it, does it take you a long time? Do you work in it for weeks, months, or do you knock it all off in a few days? How do you go on that?
I tend to think about it for months and months and months, and then just knock it out.
And do you enjoy the process then? Because it sometimes can be quite, anyone who's tried writing or creating anything, it can be joyous and it can be really painful sometimes.
Oh, it's incredibly painful. It's excruciating. But, when that deadline approaches, you've got to knuckle down and it all sort of just flows out then.
And are you happy with it? And here we are now, coming up towards performance time, full cast, rehearsals going. You're happy with the way it's panning out?
Oh, it's amazing.
Are you in it yourself as well?
I am. I'm Little John. Yes.
You are Little John, so you get to do your own lines. So
Just a tiny role. Yeah, just a
and
small.
do you find that you need to learn your lines then, or can you remember them because you wrote them?
You'd think so, but no, I can't remember them at all.
I have that problem all the time. Right, let's take a couple more characters. Tell us about your character.
So I'm Jules and I play Maid Marian, and I'm just absolutely pleased as punch to be playing an 18-year-old when I turned 51 this year.
Get away.
Yeah, okay, see you later.
So are you a regular with the pantos first, second, third, or done every one?
I'm an old has-been. I returned this year after about 5 or 6 years to the Centenary Centre, and what better way to come than to an adult pantomime. So,
and do you like doing the sort of the fruitier stuff, shall we say?
This is actually the first time of doing anything this adult, to be fair. I mean, I suppose what would you call burlesque? But anything with lines like this, and I actually really, really enjoy myself. So.
And do you like actually sort of, the fruitier side of life and swearing like a trooper in real life?
Me?
I'm just asking.
Do you know who I am?
Well, I'm just being polite because it's radio, obviously.
Oh, no, I never swear in real life. Absolutely never.
I thought that's what I'd heard.
Yeah, well, you heard wrong.
And what do you particularly enjoy about your character?
The character, every character I've ever played has always got an element of me in it, and she's got a lot of me in it. She gets away with a lot. She's a bit of a lady of the night, shall we say?
And that's you, right?
Well, oh God, what did I say?
That's all right.
Maybe about 10 years ago.
And is this your first leading role, I believe?
It is my first ever leading role, so it's a new challenge learning lines, and yeah, I've only ever done ensemble stuff before, so fully presenting myself out there as Robin. So
were you pressured into it, or did you volunteer?
I did volunteer, but I am very good friends with Michelle as well, so she did give me a little nudge to go in for it. But I've been wanting to do it for a couple of years, but I have got a 4-year-old, so it's quite nice to actually do something for myself for a change. So.
Yeah. And how are you finding it?
I'm really, really enjoying it. It's nice to. It's completely different from my normal job. So I actually work at the sensory hub, so it's more with children. So this is kind of like the complete opposite. Yeah.
And how do you feel now that we're sort of getting a bit closer? Because I always think when you start off, it's all great and everyone has fun, a bit of a laugh. Then all of a sudden, we're on 2 weeks on Friday. You think,
Yeah. So when Michelle was like, right, books down, everyone needs to know their lines. I'm like, But I think I'm doing okay. Yeah.
And it's a good cast.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying. I've met lots of new friends, so it's been really nice. Yeah.
And any singing, or do you have to do any singing yourself?
I don't have to do any singing, thankfully, which is a blessing for everybody's ears. So I'm quite lucky I don't have to do any singing.
And again, what sort of drew you into acting in the first place? What do you really enjoy about getting up on stage? Is it just the sort of the showing off, or what is it?
Well, I actually started off doing like dance and stuff in ensembles. I've done a couple of Gaiety shows quite a few years ago, and then I really enjoyed doing the acting side of that. So it's been really nice to come and do this, and now I've ended up with the principal boy role. So yeah.
And like you say, a first principal role. So absolute best of luck.
Thank you very much.
I should say break a leg. A leg.
Oh yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay, crucial things then. Mish is a great cast, and it's a sizable cast too, looking at it.
Yeah, how many have I got? 18?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice cast, especially for the adult pantos. We don't normally have the opportunity to have chorus as well. So to have that ensemble actually there alongside the principal cast is lovely for this style of show. So it's been really, really nice to have that and direct it and say, right, this is what I want. Can you do it? Brilliant, lovely. And I've got obviously dab hands like Jules. I've got the newer ones like Jem, who so naive that just the naivety of it makes the role better, because you sort of you fully believe in it and you're immersed of the story. So it's really, really great.
We are Peel Centenary Centre. Give us the dates and how can people book tickets?
So you can book your tickets online from the Centenary Centre at etickets.iam. Yep, I am. They are £12 each, and we are performing on Friday the 8th and Saturday the 9th of May.
Brilliant. Get your tickets now, and just one more time, it's for the broad-minded, and I'm assuming no children under 18s.
No children under 18, please. If you want to bring your kids, make sure that they are 18 and over. Yes.
One more time, this is an adult panto. if you don't like stronger language or are easily offended by sexual innuendo or smutty visual jokes, this probably isn't the panto for you. But if you are broad-minded and enjoy that sort of thing, I confess, get down there. But just don't say you weren't warned. That's about it for now. We'll be hearing about the Manx Opera, as I promised you last week. Celia is in the next week or two. We're just waiting for a ticket link for that one. In the meantime, be good. Whatever you're doing, be creative about it. Himu.